Solid Edge comes with a free viewer called View and Markup. And in View and Markup will allow the user to basically attach any type of Microsoft document like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, plus any kind of part, assembly, or native Solid Edge 2D drawing. So in View and Markup, some of the capabilities that we have is whether it be in the 2D draft or in the 3D model, users can go in and redline and show different areas of change that need to be made to the actual assembly file or part model. So here you'll notice that we've created a couple different changes that we want to make to our drawing, and if we jump back over to the 2D drawing, you'll notice that there we can actually say that we want to open an editor, and what that'll do is take that View and Markup file and open it back up into Solid Edge. And so once inside of Solid Edge, we can look at all the different variations that we have in our 2D drawing, or we can just simply double left mouse click on any drawing view, and that will open up that part or that assembly in its own native window. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is we're going to go in and we're going to make a couple of these changes that we specified in our View and Markup file, which is also called a PCF file. So what I'm going to do is just zoom up tightly around the area in question, and I want to be normal to the screen. And what normal to the screen will allow me to do is, as I window select an area that I want to make modifications to, that's actually picking those faces, those components, or those features in the Z depth of the screen. So here you'll notice we've got some different things selected, and we'll just go in and stretch this back area about 50 millimeters. And what you will see is we're going to actually move faces, features, and components all at one time with the use of synchronous technology. So up in this area, what I want to do is I want to move this front face and this mounting hole. So just by simply selecting those two, positioning my steering wheel, I can grab the primary axis, type in whatever value I want. So I want to move those two things 25 millimeters. And again, because of synchronous technology, you'll notice that change is going to take place, and it actually propagates to the other side. And then the last change that we need to make according to our View and Markup file is we want to go in and show what's called a live section in Solid Edge. Live sections will allow me to get down to the sketch detail or sketch level, and at that point I can go in and specify anything that's dealing with that live section. So here, once I select this back line, you'll notice that it has a angular dimension of 35 mil. So from my View and Markup, I want to change this from 35 down to 30, and so we'll just select the dimension, type in the new value that we're looking for, and Solid Edge and the use of live rules and synchronous technology will allow us to change that on both sides of this mounting bracket. Alright, now we're going to switch back over to the 2D drawing, and what you'll notice is once we go and switch our documents to the 2D drawing, Solid Edge will come in and tell us, hey, that you've made changes to this particular assembly model, so you need to go in and update. So I'm going to use a tool called Drawing View Tracker. Drawing View Tracker is going to list out all the different areas or views and sheets that there has been changed to, and then we can simply update. And what you'll notice is once we update, Solid Edge is going to tell us that here's a list of all the different things that we've changed in our drawing. So if we pick a particular area and click Find, you'll notice that Solid Edge will zoom up tightly around that area, and because we're working in a multi-sheet environment, we will also switch to that particular sheet. So if you select something from the list and hit Find and it's on a different sheet, we will switch over to that sheet for you. So the next thing we want to do is take a look at inserting a bin table on this sheet metal part. So we'll just go into the bin table command and enter it into the properties, and you'll notice that Solid Edge gives you a list of different properties that you can control, or you can simply select something, delete it, move columns up and down, or add any additional columns that you like. And so we'll just place this column over here to the right, and you'll notice that we're giving you the sequence, the radius, the angle, the direction, and the included angle, and we're going to mark each bin so the operator will know which bin needs to be bent first. Okay, next let's switch over to our last tab called Hole Information. Let's just place a hole table on our part. So we're just going to specify our X and Y direction, And from that we can window select the entire part, and by selecting the entire part, that's going to find all the holes in our drawing view. And then we have some options whether we can go in and list holes by size, list them by origin. So we'll just say list holes by size. And then once we go out and place our hole table, you'll notice that we're going to annotate each hole. Any of these annotations can be repositioned. If you select an annotation, it will draw a line or highlight the actual hole that that annotation is associated to. And now I'm going to go in, and we've been working in kind of an ANSI type drawing, and here for this particular sheet I want to say I need to detail this sheet in an ISO standard. So we'll just drag off a couple of different radial dimensions plus this linear type dimension. And what I want to point out is something that we now have in ST4 of Solid Edge is that the ability to say, for this ISO standard, the standards calls out that your dimensions are supposed to run parallel with extension lines. So we now have an override to that, to where you can simply right mouse click, go into properties. In your text tab, for linear dimension, or excuse me, for dimensions with a leader, we can go in and say, we want to override that dimension and have my text position horizontally. And so now, using another tool which is called copy attributes, we can go in and actually copy styles. So we've copied those styles to those other dimensions, and here I'm just going to go in and apply another pull out override to this vertical dimension, because I want, again, my actual dimension to be horizontal to the screen. So lastly, what we're going to do is let's go in and create an additional sheet. So I'm going to insert a new sheet, and then we're just going to go through our view wizard and go out and find an assembly, and it's actually going to be an assembly with an exploded view, so we can take a look at how Solid Edge can quick and easily place 2D drawing views of explosions. So here we're just going to specify, a bigger scale, how we want to display this drawing view as it's placed on our sheet. And by placing that view, what that will allow us to do is now go into our parts list, and once selecting that view, I can have predefined instructions, and this is basically a parts list that says, hey, I want you to automatically indent upon placement. And what I want you to draw to your attention is, as we're looking at this, you'll notice that the item number column is blank, and all of the balloons, they have basically not available information. So with Solid Edge parts list is going to give the users all kind of controls. So instead of using assembly generated item numbers, I want to go in and I want to generate item numbers at the drawing level myself. So where that would come in handy is if I didn't want to start out with item number 1, but I want to start out with item 10, and I wanted to increment in increments of 10. So that's going to give the user that kind of capability. Another thing, as we go back into the properties of the parts list, Solid Edge ST4 supports titles, supports multi-lines of title. All of the title information that the user enters, you can go in and change the font style, font size, alignments, underlining. So you have a full control over any information that you place in that particular title itself. Now looking at the columns tab, here I just want to go in and start formatting some stuff. So what I've done is I've specified, I want to change something about the material, and there's an option called merge vertical cells with same value. So what that's going to allow me to do is merge like items that's running in that vertical column. We can also, in ST4, we could go in and rotate any header, or we could also specify we want vertical alignment, and we can place in what's called 2 rows. So I can take like material and specify 2 rows for that cell. So I want it to say material on the top, and I want it to say per assembly on the bottom. And then with quantity, I want to do the same thing. So I want to insert another row, and I want it to have the same listing as per assembly. Now once I do this, I don't want each of those columns to have per assembly. I just want one word per assembly, so I can go in and merge with the next header. And what you'll notice is we can have both of those columns that represent that this material and this quantity is per that particular assembly.